Get back to your calls here in two shakes, but want to have a conversation about some local issues here, folks, and it's kind of important. If we were to reverse this trend here in the United States, on the local level, we've got to insulate ourselves from left-wing craziness. I'm going to bring on Kirk Launius, native of Dallas County, BA from the University of Texas, Austin in economics. He's a 10-year United States Navy veteran with law enforcement training from the Dallas Police Academy. He's a businessman who is active in his local church and several civic and community service organizations such as the Constitutional Sheriffs and Peace Officers Association. He is running for Dallas County Sheriff. Mr. Launius, welcome to the Chris Salcedo Show.
Hey, good morning, Chris. Thanks for having me on.
Pleasure's all mine, sir. I want to start off with some current events here. This fugitive that went on a crime spree here in North Texas was a 3-time deportee. And as I posted up on the Chris Salcedo Show Facebook page, you can thank nearly every Democrat or these Chamber of Commerce Republicans for allowing this situation to happen. Can you react, sir, as a law enforcement officer, to the fact that our cities are plagued with multiple deportee illegal immigrant felons, courtesy of Democrat liberal policies?
Absolutely, and this is an issue that's very personal to me. My cousin's husband, who is now a detective out in Las Vegas, Clark County Sheriff's Office, about the time I graduated from the Dallas Police Academy, he was involved in a shootout with an illegal who was in an SUV that had no plate, pulled him over. They immediately got in a running gun battle. Rick was shot 6 times. He survived, almost died from loss of blood. But, that was an individual very similar to this situation with the guy that shot the people down around Cedar Hill. I just read a report this morning that individual apparently had used a false passport to gain entry as many as 35 times to this country. So when we look at the constitutional basis, there is no constitutional basis for federal government to be involved in the enforcement of immigration law. That Article 1, Section 8 says that they are to draft uniform laws of naturalization. I was told as a Dallas police officer that we were able to assist federal law enforcement on issues relating to, for example, drug laws. But interestingly and curiously, when it come to immigration issues, we were told that's a federal responsibility. But you have to wonder, what are our tax dollars going for if we have such an open border and people are coming in on false passports and committing heinous crimes like we saw tragically over this past week?
Yeah, your opponent, Lupe Valdez, has taken it beyond the local level and spoke at the Democrat convention supporting pro-illegal immigrant candidates, pro-illegal immigrant criminal felon individuals, and on a very national level. Yes. Describe to me your feeling about somebody who claims to be a law enforcement officer like Lupe Valdez, who would support who would throw her support behind citizens of other nations who come into the United States illegally. It seems to me to be counter to what law enforcement is supposed to stand for.
Absolutely. It is. And as a military veteran, I took the oath as a Navy sailor, as a Dallas police officer, and it means something to me that I will support and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. So I see that as an abrogation of the oath. It is not acceptable for a law enforcement officer who's taken the oath to have those types of positions. And furthermore, I'll just let you know, my last 3 years in the Navy were in Asia. I was stationed in Korea. And, we have many people coming to this country, some illegally. There are people of Chinese origin, for example, that pay $50,000 and up per person to be smuggled in. There are other people from other sources who are illegal here, but when Sheriff Valdez went down to the state legislature and spoke before a committee, she was claiming that any kind of sanctuary cities laws can lead to Ferguson-like protests here. Well, she then went on to tell the chairman of that committee that, in her belief, that people, this is quoting Sheriff Valdez, people who look like me will be stopped a lot more than people who look like you, Mr. Chairman, who was a Caucasian male. So to me, it's inappropriate because is she going to, just like Justice Kennedy in the Arizona versus the United States case, there was a supplanting of a constitutional standard with one where bureaucrats like Sheriff Valdez, who think we're not smart enough to make these judgments on our own and follow the law.
Well, wait a minute. So am I to understand that Lupe Valdez believes that because, and I, as a Hispanic, as a Latino, I take great offense for her assumption that if it's illegal, it must be Latino. I think that Lupe Valdez is, if that is her position, because it's a rather ignorant position, because you and I both know that folks coming across that southern border illegally range from folks, yes, from Mexico, from Central America, from Yemen, from China, from Pakistan.
Absolutely.
As a matter of fact, OTMs now, other than Mexicans, outnumber those individuals coming into the United States illegally. So,
Chris, I've seen it. I've been down to Hudspeth County, which is a county just east of El Paso, which the DPS has declared unsecured. That is a technical term that our own Department of Public Safety, because so many resources are being directed to two counties down closer down the Rio Grande Valley. We literally have counties where I went down with the Dallas police colleague. We were literally able to, if we wanted to, walk right across the Rio Grande River, no fence, no nothing. And so there are signs there that are written in Chinese and Spanish and English. So my question in this, and my Asian friends here in Dallas, immigrants, legal immigrants, question this because they know that she's not going to take a stand to stand up for example, people of Asian origin.
Yeah.
She's specifically showing her bias, and that's something that, if elected sheriff, I will enforce the law impartially without bias.
Yeah,
without regard to special interest groups.
Yeah, exactly. If by the way, Kirk Launius is my guest right now, folks. He's running to replace Lupe Valdez as Dallas County Sheriff. I mean, when you're in a position like the county sheriff, you're supposed to represent all citizens, and certainly you're not supposed to be in it to protect citizens from other countries over your fellow citizens here in the United States. I find it unacceptable for Lupe Valdez to put foreigners first the way her Democrat Party does, and I find it. And Kirk, you've been around the area in Dallas County. Have you been talking with folks out there who say that it's well, let me ask you this, because what do they tell you? Are they saying that they like Lupe Valdez putting foreigners first, illegals first before their safety?
No, Chris, they don't like it at all, and not just the law enforcement community, because she's calling into question her very own deputies and police officers that we wake up in the morning just wanting to go out and target people. No, we look for violations of the law, objective standards. So I thought that was inappropriate too. But I'll just let you know we've had a lot of fun and great success at working the gun shows, for example, and talking to church groups. Got meetings with some black pastors in the southern part of the county. Mm-hmm. People who we would never reach otherwise. We've made the effort, and I have Democrats that are supporting me because, for example, the recent release of a prisoner who killed a psychiatrist over there at Tenwell Hospital, mistakenly released, and the sheriff didn't realize it until Channel 8 brought it to her attention. And that just happened within the last month. So, people are concerned that these types of mistakes are becoming dangerous, and they want someone in office. In the United States Navy, we inspect because your life depends on it. And we do that not just daily, but hourly. And that's the type of standard that I would bring to Dallas County Sheriff's Office so we can avoid mistaken releases and the barrel rifle that went missing.
Kirk, I don't know that we can afford more of Lupe Valdez type of leadership in Dallas County, and I pray to God that folks can give you a lot of support. Kirk Launius, everybody. Where's the website they can go to if they want to help you out, Kirk?
KirkForSheriff.com. It's KIRKFOR Sheriff.com. You can also find me on Facebook. Just search Kirk, KIRK Launius.
Well, Kirk, you have the full support of the liberty-loving Latino here, Chris Salcedo, okay?
Thank you, Chris.
All right, brother. Thank you very much, man. Thanks for being here on the Salcedo Show. Back in 2 shakes, folks, here on WBAP.